Welcome to Cook the Math, where culinary art meets mathematical precision. Thank you for joining. We are back with another episode of Dine or DIY, where we take an item from a fast food place or a restaurant and we compare it to if you were to get the ingredients at the store and make them yourself. On today's episode, we're going to be doing one of my favorite items from Taco Bell, which is the Beefy Melt Burrito. Now, unfortunately, Taco Bell discontinued this burrito, and so they replaced it with a pretty much the exact same item, a Cheesy Double Beef Burrito, which claims to have double the seasoned beef compared to Crunchy Taco, but really, I believe it's just the same item, and they're just using that to make it more expensive, because the Beefy Melt Burrito used to cost about $2. But they then raised the price to $2.50, and then when they took off the item, they just replaced it with the Cheesy Double Beef Burrito, which cost $2.99. But really, it's the same item of seasoned beef, seasoned rice, nacho cheese sauce, fiesta strips, sour cream, and a 3-cheese blend wrapped in a warm flour tortilla. So, let's do those ingredients. So, keep in mind that all the ingredients that I mentioned will be based on Walmart prices, and the price will vary based on where you get them and what brand you get. So, in this case, we have 8 different ingredients. Our ingredients are ground beef, taco seasoning, Mexican rice, burrito tortillas, Fritos. These will be our fiesta strips, our nacho cheese sauce, Mexican cheese blend, and sour cream. And I got all these ingredients and the recipe from the Novice Chef blog. And as before, what we're going to do is we are going to get these into 3 categories. Our first category is going to be our total price. And that is the price that you would see if you were to buy the ingredient in full at the store. Next is our cost per serving. So if you were to divide the price of the whole thing by the amount of servings, that's how much it would be. And then lastly, our price per part. If you were to actually use that a certain amount, how much will that cost? So let's start off with the ground beef, and this is the roll that you would normally find in the beef department. And that cost $4.94 for 1 pound. For our taco seasoning, I decided to keep in line with the Taco Bell trend and decided to go for the Taco Bell mild seasoning, which costs 82 cents for the 1 ounce. For the Mexican rice, I decided to go with Old El Paso cheesy Mexican rice, and that cost $2.80 for 3 cups. For the burrito tortillas, I got the great value ones that are $2.08 for 8 of them. Now, the Fritos was an interesting one because in the recipe it asked for cups, but on the nutrition label it only said how many chips there were per serving. And so what I did was I went to the store to get a bag of Fritos. But the interesting thing was, on the Walmart website, it showed 28 chips per serving, whereas the actual bag was 32 chips per serving, but it still had 9 servings. So keep in mind that the serving sizes may vary, but that is what I received. Then what I did was I grabbed a measuring cup and I counted to see how many Fritos there were in a cup. All right, so we are going to see how many Fritos is in 1 cup. And we're going to measure right here to the halfway mark. I got my Fritos here. And let's begin. 1, 2, 69, 70. So I'd say there were about 70 Fritos per cup. Now, even though I said there were 70, it looked like it stopped at around 60 from the camera's point of view, so let's meet in the middle and go for 65. And I'm going to go down this time. So 65 chips for 1 cup. We need to figure out how many cups were in the amount of chips there were. If we multiply 32 times 9, that's going to be about 288. And when we do the math, do our cross multiplying, so it's going to be pretty much 288 divided by 65. And that's going to equal about 4.5 cups. And I bought the Fritos for $4.48. Now for the nacho cheese sauce. The recipe does call for a nacho cheese dip like Tostitos, so that is the one I'm going to use. And that costs $4.74 for about 1 3/4 cup. Our Mexican cheese blend. We could use the triple cheese from our episode we did with the KFC Famous Bowl, but Walmart, specifically Great Value, does have a Fiesta blend cheese, which we're going to use instead. And that costs the same price, $1.97, for the same amount, 2 cups. And lastly, for our sour cream, that is the Great Value sour cream. That is also $1.97, and that's for about 1 7/8 cups. Now we're going to do the price per serving. So, since our ground beef is already a pound, it's just the amount divided by 1, which is the same price, $4.94. We don't need to do any math here. Same thing with the taco seasoning. We can keep that at 82 cents. Our Mexican rice is $2.18 divided by 3, and that gets us to 73 cents. Our tortillas is $2.08 divided by 8, and that's about 26 cents. Our Fritos is very close to $1. Our nacho cheese sauce is going to be $2.71. Mexican cheese blend is very similar to last week's episode, so we're going to make that 99 cents, but we know we're going to round that to $1. And then our sour cream, $1.97 divided by 1 7/8. That is going to be $1.05. Now we need to figure out the price per part. For the ground beef, each burrito needs a quarter pound of ground beef, so divide this by 4, we get about $1.23. For our taco seasoning, each one gets a quarter of that packet, so that's going to be divided by 4, 21 cents. For our Mexican rice, that's going to be 73 cents divided by 2, which is about 37 cents. For our burrito tortillas, we just need 1, so we'll keep this at 26 cents. Let me put measurements on here. Our Fritos, we just need half a cup, so divide this by 2, we get a nice even 50 cents. Our nacho cheese sauce, we need a quarter of a cup, so divide 271 by 4, and that's 68 cents. Our Mexican cheese blend, we're going to round this up to $1, divide by 4, because we need a quarter cup, that's 25 cents. And then our sour cream, we are going to divide $1.05 by 8, and that is 13 cents. And doing the math all for the dollars per part, when we calculate all this together, we actually get a higher number than the original price. So in this case, when we add everything together, it's actually going to be $3.63. And even if we did the most expensive one, it's still actually going to be 64 cents more expensive to make, which I found quite surprising, especially considering that usually when you make this stuff, it usually is a little bit cheaper. I would keep in mind, though, that we did use name brand Fritos and we used a name brand nacho cheese sauce as opposed to generic like with the other brands. The taco seasoning we also use a name brand for, but if you were to get a great value brand of that, it would not be that much in terms of the price. It'd just be a little bit cheaper. So there are some cheaper variants of these that you could probably use. You can even use Doritos if you'd like, and that might lower the price a little bit. Or you can find a generic brand. You can even use some Tostitos or any corn chip. If you were to get all of the items in full, it would be a total cost of $23.18 to make. So at the moment, unless that price rises up again, it is cheaper to purchase the Beefy Melt or the Cheesy Double Beef Burrito from Taco Bell than it is to make it. If you have a suggestion on what I should do next, leave a comment down below. Also, do not forget to like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and keep on cooking and calculating.